You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You got that right, people. We fucking just watched the Helium movie, and it was uplifting.
We didn't watch Up. We watched it.
We watched something much less depressing at the beginning of the movie, for sure. We went and saw the remake of it, which we've talked about briefly in the past. You have seen the original TV movie.
Yes.
I have not.
Yes.
So we're coming at this from different perspectives, like a motherfucker.
Neither of us have read the book.
I was not. No, I mean, not a big reader in general. Never read a Stephen King book. Not a big Stephen King movie fan. His movies, the movies of his I like, are not like he has very two separate. Sometimes
you like his serious, more grounded, like a Shawshank, a Green Mile.
Green Mile still had like weird shit happening. This one started off a lot like very grounded. Like there are moments in this that reminded me a lot of the things I like about Stephen King, which I don't know if that's from Stephen King's books because I've never read them, or if it's whatever. But yeah, so we're coming at this from different fucking, and I wasn't even like, of all the movies, I mean, we've seen a shitload of movies this year. And this one was like I heard about. It seems like this one was scheduled to come out years ago.
They had announced it a couple years ago, and then there was the rash of people walking around in scary clown outfits.
Yeah.
With balloons and shit.
Ago.
It was a couple
years ago. Or
2 years, maybe.
Yeah. This one wasn't like. Not like I was not passionate one way or the other about this one. I just didn't care. Like it wasn't. I didn't think. I thought it would just disappear, come out, be gone. Like a lot of shitty movies, a lot of shitty remakes, especially. But yeah, leading up to it, I don't even think. Did we see any of the trailers in any of the movies we watched?
I don't believe we
it.
ever saw a trailer in the movies we were watching. I don't know if we weren't watching the type of movies that they would have played the trailer.
Well, especially during whatever time they started to market them. We
may have seen it once.
I just can't remember.
I can't remember a distinct time though.
But yeah, it was seriously not on my radar. I haven't even heard like. It's weird how, like, I don't even know if I've heard positive things, although it is rated really well on Rotten Tomatoes.
I heard on one podcast, and I stay away. If I know I'm going to go see a movie, I stay away for the most part from any reviews, spoiler or non, because I don't want their opinion to dictate how I see the movie, so I just try to stay away from it. But if, like, in passing mention, they'll be like, we just saw it on a screener, and it was really good, but we'll have our reviews and everything.
Yeah, that's why
just to hear it was really good. I'm like,
that's
cool.
all I need to know. Yeah, that's what I like about Douglas
later
movies.
After I watch it. Yeah, and after we do this, I then go listen and watch.
As far as movie podcasts, I pretty much just listen to two that I can think of offhand: Douglas movies and Totally Rad Show.
And most of mine aren't podcasts. Most of mine are just internet personalities who do movie reviews. Yeah. Like, so I'll like, Collider does some. Schmoes are part of Collider, so they do their own. Yeah. Then, like, the Flick Chart, or the John Flickster is his name. Chris Stuckman. Yeah. Like, there was a few different guys that I'm like, I wonder what they thought of this.
Well, that's why I like Douglas Movies isn't a movie review show. Yeah. It's a movie trivia show with comics and actors and just personalities and shit like that. And he'll ask them stuff, but everybody's pretty solid on not spoiling shit. And it's usually just like, what have you seen recently? Which is nice to know, get people's opinions on whatever is current. Usually, sometimes like they just saw some old ass movie. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't really heard that I can think of anything. It must have heard something positive. It's just weird that we went and saw this. I mean, I wrote down a list of all the movies coming out.
It literally just came out yesterday at midnight.
Today. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, all the movies come out Thursdays at midnight.
Yeah. So, and when we left, we caught the last matinee. When we left, there was a fucking line up the stairs, which I've never even seen that. But, of course, we usually go to an early showing. So, that was the first.
5 o'clock is like,
a later show for us.
And it was a Friday, too. Yeah. A lot of the times we'll watch a movie midweek. But yeah, we got to see it Friday, and for sure the busiest the theater was leaving that I can think of.
Now,
I mean, you could tell
our theater wasn't packed or anything.
No, but when we were leaving, seeing how many ushers and like the manager or supervisor was in there or whatever, they were probably like, I mean, the night shift had come in because they're like, I mean, Fridays and Saturdays are probably crazy there, and a lot of kids, which we had. A group of kids come in about halfway half hour
through
to an hour.
No, it was an hour.
How long is this movie?
2:15. I told you.
It felt 2:15.
It didn't for me.
Felt like every bit of 2:15.
Because I did not for me at all. I checked because I did actually check my phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
Like just to click it, and it was literally 7:00 when I checked it, and I was like, because I know the movie starts at like 5:20 or 5:30, even though it says 5. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh shit. Like an hour and a half fucking flew by.
The first half of the movie for me flew by. You know, like I was saying after the movie, it's like the first half of the movie, you want to talk about going from a movie that was disappointing. Goon, by the way, is on the first one is on Netflix.
Yeah,
I rewatched some of it just to see how it starts and it's like, oh, that's like a fucking great fucking movie. Versus Goon 2 we just saw last
masterpiece
week.
Compared.
But it's like the big problem with Goon 2 is there's no fucking heart. This thing starts off with like it's like so much like Stranger Things, so much heart. Bunch of kids on bikes in the 80s.
It's literally like even one of the kids is one of the kids from Stranger Things. It has such a Stranger Things
but a different
feel.
Character, clearly a different character
Very
than
much
Stranger
so.
Things, which is good.
Because he's
the big
super timid
too.
and everything in Stranger Things, and in this he's the cocky shit talker.
Super smart ass, hilarious. Like there's so much comedy in the first half of this movie.
In the later version, a slight spoiler for you.
I'll forget by the time it
becomes a comedian in his life.
Hopefully, I mean they might change that. He could be like a comedic actor. He'd be like Will Ferrell instead of Bill Burr. That would be cool though. I mean that would make sense, you know, if it was. But I would imagine in the sequel, I mean, I don't know if the original's like that, but the second one, the fat kid, is all like ripped and buff and shit.
He got thin.
Yeah. So this movie, and that, I mean, that makes sense. It's like, okay, you're gonna do something.
He totally
like
got thin.
It's it would be hilarious.
And became a writer.
It'd be hilarious if she got fat and none of the kids were attracted to her anymore. I know, but that never happens. Nobody just gets overweight. I don't think in movies. Anyway, so compared to the first one, which I'm interested to find out the comparisons.
For me,
but hold on. This movie isn't a complete. It's chapter one.
It's chapter one.
Two chapters, which is the original movie.
Yes.
All right. So
and the original movie was a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
So it's a little cheesy.
And
it can't be
late 80s.
In the late 80s, like
definitely a lot of CG in this.
Yes.
A lot of dark CG.
Now, for the first one, Tim Curry was great as Pennywise. That's why a lot of people, when they heard they were going to remake it, were like,
the band named after the clown?
Yes. So the first one, Tim Curry played an excellent Pennywise, especially with, almost no CG. Like there's some weird stop motion, claymation type shit in the first one.
Makes sense
for the time and for the budget.
Yeah.
But it was. I was tentative when I heard about this, and then I saw the first trailer, and I'm like, well, the clown looks creepy. Okay. And I was like, but, to fill in Tim Curry's shoes, it's fucking tough in certain roles. I thought this Bill Skarsgård guy fucking nailed creepy and clown-like and didn't
fucking great.
Didn't degrade the Tim Curry's role at all.
Yeah.
Like made it his own.
A good remake, a good version. Is it
he made
different
it his
in
own.
any way?
It's different.
So is it like
Heath
Ledger Joker?
This is.
I mean, I don't think the performance in this necessarily is Heath Ledger.
No. This is Heath Ledger Joker versus the first one was Cesar Romero 1968 Batman.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
That's not saying much for the original then.
But the original to me,
it was old. You're a
when
kid.
I was a kid, it was a made-for-TV movie, and that's what for a lot of kids or people my age and just people in general started their clown phobia. Like Pennywise was just so creepy, and he manifested your fears. And
I mean, that's a very common thing as far as people being afraid of clowns.
Yes,
and this isn't the only
scary
clown
there's a lot
movie.
of other, but this seems to be a seminal one.
But clowns are kind of fucking weird in general. Just in general, it's kind of weird
to
be
put
like
on all that makeup. And
my mom was a clown. You know, like I don't know if she ever did clown work while I was alive. It may have been the thing she did before. I don't remember, but she was a clown at one point. And so I wasn't, and my grandparents had a lot of clown paintings, so I didn't really have. It was always weird. Like I don't know, people that have clown artwork in their house. It's really weird, man. But you know, so I never had the fear.
Sad clown, too.
And I didn't grow up watching this, so I never had the fear of clowns. But that was definitely for people our age, maybe a little younger. It was definitely like a common thing, a very common thing for people in our generation to be scared of clowns.
Yes.
Mostly, I mean, I heard it mostly from girls, but dudes don't really, hey, I'm scared of clowns.
Yeah, well, you're not really admitting that shit in middle school and high school.
Exactly,
you're like,
yeah.
Hey, guys, you ever notice how fucking creepy clowns are? And your friends would be like, you fucking faggot.
Yeah.
Which, again, in this movie, it definitely fucking, the one kid calls him his group a bunch of faggot. Mm-hmm. It was definitely like, it was spot on of the time what someone would have said.
The kid from, the first half of this movie, I was telling you, I was like, is my fucking movie going to be my favorite movie of the year?
And we've seen a lot of good fucking movies.
Oh my God.
Year.
Yeah. Baby Driver still. But this one was like, because it had so much fucking heart, and the comedy that fucking kid, not just him, but there was a lot of comedy in the first half of the movie. So good. Like, you know, not the deepest comedy, but it's like fucking also not like just goofball fucking, you know, hangover comedy.
The real feel.
Just like comebacks.
Of the tension between like the fucking bully kid. Yeah. And like how hardcore he went.
Yeah.
Like.
I never had, okay, before, we're going to get into this, but people that are listening, we'll try and be vague. But we may lay down some spoilers just to get that out there.
Well, hey, if you haven't seen the original, most people have seen the original.
Maybe.
But
it is a common thing, but not everybody's seen everything.
It's a remake, so.
Sure. For me, it's a fucking, listen, not everybody's seen the fucking original.
Yeah.
Half of this podcast hasn't seen the original. So that's 50%. And you don't know everybody.
A very small pool.
Sure, like the people that you've met in your life that you know in reality and digital make up for half, like the total population.
Bigger pool. It's a bigger pool.
And generationally too. Like the kids behind us for sure don't know that it's even a remake.
True.
You know, so it's like generationally, people our generation for sure. Probably not a spoiler, but it doesn't take very far. There's 5 years younger, 10 years younger than us. They're in their mid to late 20s, or I don't even know what that shit is. But yeah, so we may lay down some spoilers. And would you recommend seeing the first one? You told me not to. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, I wanted you to go in fresh,
knowing that this is a part one. I didn't know going into this was going to be a part one.
But
I knew
that from intuition.
When they did the thing at the end. You could see how long the story we were into the thing, and it's like, oh well, they're clearly.
You're not gonna have a second arc of
confused.
Fucking 27 years later, and then play a whole arc of that.
Yeah. You're not gonna. You would have seen it.
So in the first one though, because it was.
Which I'm glad they split it up.
It's a made-for-TV movie, so I think it was 4 different hours, but that was hours on TV, so that was like 45 minutes of actual play. So. Whatever 4 times
per
45
hour.
It's because it's long.
Yeah.
Like how The Stand, when it came out on video rental, was a double.
The what?
The Stand. It was another made for TV Stephen King around that time.
Right.
Or a little later, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, the multi VHS.
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody knows. See, now you're talking to people.
But I'm saying, so when they played both chapters though, it definitely made it shorter.
Which I guess they did split it up.
They grazed over, like they showed way more of Pennywise interacting.
Well, let's not talk about the fucking second half that hasn't happened yet.
No. I'm saying I was just talking about this.
Okay.
I'm like,
but I don't want to touch on any of those spoilers.
No, I won't. But they've definitely played more of Pennywise interacting with each kid and showing their fears than they did in the original because they didn't have time to. Because there's a lot of fucking kids in this group.
Yeah. Well, first off, like, story-wise in comparison to the first one, or first half of the first one, is it follow fairly closely to the first one?
Yes.
So there's not a whole lot of changes?
Not a
like,
shit.
so when they show the fears in the first one... No, I mean, but hold on. Like, the fears, when they show the fears, how they show the fears in this one, are the fears the same? Do they... I mean, clearly they're not going to be filmed the same way.
Very close.
Okay, because this one was filmed... I mean, this one took a lot of the visuals from, like, really, like, a lot of Kubrick stuff, like Shining, and, like, kind of like, you know, like some old school horror kind of scenes.
Yeah.
Like the scene in the bathroom is like, it's like such a, like an old, but with new effects.
Yes.
Like so much old school. Yeah, okay. So story's pretty much the same. All the fears are all the same. The same amount of characters?
Yes.
Okay. And
same core group.
Were they? Did they have like? Were they the same characters? Like, was the hemophilia or the fucking gazebo kid?
Yes.
The
black kid.
Is he homeschooled in the first one?
I can't remember. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah, for sure.
But
they're all there.
Yes.
Okay. That's cool.
Every one of those kids, and then adults is there.
I really wish the second part of this was out already, so I could just watch that and then compare them right away to the first one. That way I can compare and contrast. But yeah. All right, cool. So the first part of this movie I fucking loved. So much comedy, so much heart. Kind of just setting up, kind of getting you to fall in love with all the characters, which it did.
Which it did. All of them.
Absolutely, yeah. There wasn't, like, as opposed to Logan Lucky, where there was a character that was actively horrible as shit.
Yes.
There was definitely none of that.
None.
I don't even think there was, like, any bad, like, there was, as far as, like, performances or, like, casting-wise that I could think of.
Everything was great.
Everything was pretty fucking amazing that I can think of.
Yeah. There was no real loose ends. I think one time in the movie I got taken out of it by a weird, like, song placement of, like, there was no real soundtrack to it. There was a score.
Yeah.
But there was no real and then all of a sudden, like, one time, like, I'm not talking about, like,
when the mom's playing, that was at the beginning of the
movie. No. Yeah. But there was, like, just one random song that got thrown in where, like, the girl was in her bedroom or something, and it was super loud, and it was like, whoa.
I don't know.
I didn't even notice a split second of, like, me going, huh?
The beginning of the movie, I have to say, looking back, because, like, it got really good. I mean, the first half of the movie, but the first, like, 5% of the movie was, like, it almost felt like slightly better TV movie.
It almost
felt like just slightly. It was, like, super melodramatic with, like, you know, the kid's sick and he's got to put the wax on the boat and all this shit. Like that first, and then
the mom's just playing piano.
I was like, okay, this is where we're at with this movie. But then it gets into, like, the heart that you get from, like, a Stranger Things, and, like, I was fucking in, man. Once that kid started laying jokes down, I was like, fuck yes.
I was in the whole goddamn time.
Yes,
like,
but once it started getting into showing the fears, like, some of them were better than others, but it was like, I knew it was happening. I'd never seen this shit before, but I knew, like, okay, like the paintings thing. But the way they did it was, like, that's not how I thought they would do it.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it was good. I mean, everything was really good, but it did definitely, like, there were parts that, like, I can't even specifically make out which parts felt slow, but for sure the first half of the movie is, like, almost my favorite shit. Like, it was considering to make it my top movie of the year. And then the second half isn't horrible, but I mean, you lose a lot of the heart that made the first part of the movie.
See, I don't see that at all. Like
you get
for me that
it loses so much of the comedy. There's a few comedic moments through it.
It's a horror movie. It's not supposed to be funny the whole time.
I know, but it's like there's still I don't know. It's just like the second half of the movie is kids like it was the same thing all the time. You know, they get split apart even though even when they're like we're not going to split apart.
Yeah.
Like they still get split apart. And it's like it's just like none of the stuff that was happening, and maybe it's because so many horror movies have just done this before after it, or inspired by it. So, but although most horror movies, you kind of know what's happening.
Yeah,
nothing good's gonna happen generally.
It's a horror movie. It's not supposed to be
exactly. Yeah. But I don't know.
But out of all horror movies,
it was still really good. I mean,
Get
Out is still way fucking better than this. Oh, 100%. From top to bottom, Get Out is it's just a great movie. This one slows down a little bit. Has amazing heart.
That's on you with the slows down. Well, like for me,
okay, but not even slows down at all. There's no fucking just weird like stack of rubbish with like floating things. Like that's like a ridiculous kind of a like lair. We go to his lair and we see this ridiculous thing. There's no like that kind of ridiculous. Everything's fairly serious and Get Out from top to bottom. Everything's like doesn't get to that place where it's like, oh, we're going here. Because this movie was like so much heart and so much. It was like in this tube of eight amazing, and then it gets to
that's the basis of that story.
It doesn't have to be a fucking tower, and the rise thing means nothing. Means nothing to me.
Well, means nothing. You'll float down here.
Yeah, that means nothing. It means. I mean, I saw people float. Do I know why or how or what? No, nothing's explained for that at all.
I mean, you liked It Comes at Night, and they don't explain shit in that movie.
Nobody, but that movie stayed consistent, just like Get Out did. It was the same movie throughout. This one was this kind of movie, and then it went into like, bad comic book movie villain end. Like we go to his lair. It could have been a fucking spear of light. It could have been.
That part did not bother me at all.
I mean,
whatsoever.
maybe you knew about the.
That wasn't. That
do
wasn't
they ever
in the original.
explain the rise thing? Not. I'm talking about that. The rise thing was not explained whatsoever in this movie. It just happens towards the end, after we see that people float.
In the first one,
because in this movie that was not explained
in the first
at
one,
all.
When they do the sewer scene, and that's one that's in the first
sewer
one.
Scene?
The very first, like where
Georgie, the kid,
sees the clown in the sewer, and then he says,
"Very beginning,
come on, come down here. You'll float down here. We all float down here." And he says it a couple times. It's explained in the book from what YouTube videos I've seen of it.
Okay,
but the whole like when he opens his mouth real huge to the girl, and then she sees the lights inside. Those are called the dead lights in the first one. Like, because they kind of explain part of it in the first movie.
Yeah, none of that shit's explained here,
and that's fine. Like it didn't.
But it's fine.
Take me out of it.
I didn't care about the lights thing. That didn't take me out. That's what I'm saying.
It is an actual supernatural being.
I get that. But
so
at the very end,
dead kids float. I don't give a fuck.
Well, because you sprung that on me at the very end to make it look. As far as I can tell, it's just there to make it look more like, I don't know, like ominous and decorative and like, oh, he's, I don't know. We've seen, the bad guy collects the skulls or the bodies or whatever. We've seen a shitload of that, which is fine. But it's like, at no point is it like part of the story that this is a thing at all. Aside from him making a couple lines when he's in the sewer about floating, which clearly you think would be, because there's water, people are floating. But then there's this thing where it's just like, it's not a huge thing, but to me, who doesn't know what the fuck is going on, you want to talk about a whole movie of that. That's a Batman versus Superman, where if you know the shit, if you did your homework, then it's just, I think that's probably it's not a big problem with this movie, but it's a fucking problem with the movie.
I mean, to you.
Because it doesn't, you knew going in, basically, do people float in the first one?
No.
Okay, then what the fuck are they floating for in this one? Why?
I don't fucking know.
I know,
he's
but
a
it's
fucking
like,
monster.
Sure, but why?
He can transform into whatever the fuck he wants. If he can make
done
fucking
better.
kids
I
float.
think that could have been done way better. I think that could have been done. Because for me,
it was King about that. I don't know.
I mean, is it in the book that they float?
I don't know. I haven't read the book.
Well, then, I mean, it could
I'm
be
sure
whatever.
It's probably in the book.
It could have been in the book, and I'm sure explained in the book, because books are fucking millions of pages long. I'm talking about the
Especially Stephen
storytelling
King
in
books.
this fucking movie. It's a curveball for no reason. And it's not a big part of the story. It's just, it went from Stranger Things to bad comic book movie at the end. Or just that part of it. I mean, there were moments in the end that were great, but for me, that's what it was. And it wasn't bad, but it could be worse. Could have been just a fucking shine of light, which is the end of most of the movies that come out. You know,
I had no problems.
That was
with
my problem with
any
it.
of it.
Yeah.
But
for me, my perspective, not knowing, never watched any YouTube videos, never read the book, never watched the movie, completely I know there's a clown. Don't know he has teeth like that. Didn't know I know there's a red balloon. Didn't know any fucking thing else. Going into this movie, okay, there's this stuff happening, but it just, like the other stuff, the blood in the bathroom makes sense. She's scared. She just got her period. Clearly, big fear. I get it. Kid's scared of being sick. A leper. Okay, I get it. You know, everything made sense. And then there's just this random thing. That's all I'm saying. Random thing. Never explained. Doesn't make sense. Well, does it hurt the movie? No. But it's also just this random thing that kind of they did.
I don't see how you...
At the end.
Like, it's just not a random thing, because literally in the first scene where you see the clown... He mentions
floating.
He talks about, you'll float down here. They all float down here, which is an ominous reference to what happens to the people that he abducts and takes down there.
But... Okay,
he doesn't have to say
a line.
He doesn't have to say, and then I magically make you float down here with my fucking supernatural alien powers.
I'm just saying.
I mean, that to me.
No, you don't need to do that.
I'm just defending it in the fact that he mentions it in the beginning.
Sure.
And for it to happen at the end, is just.
I'm just saying, aesthetically, the way they did it, that could still be the same thing. But it looked like a fucking. I didn't like it.
No, that's fine.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't like it. They set it up by saying they float. It could have been like, we're all swimming down here, and then it's just like
dead bodies swimming around would be a lot weirder than just dead bodies floating.
If they went in and then just all of a sudden everything's full of water and then they're swimming, fine, okay, but like, you know, this decorative rubbish heap that spirals up and the fucking little people floating that I guess come back to life at the very end. They're all still dead.
Those were dead bodies.
Yeah,
and the only reason he didn't kill the girls is because she wasn't scared of him.
So it's like he shows up for a year. So that's, you know, that room is him for a year, and then 27 years he's hibernate somewhere, or does he just sit on the rubbish pile? So that's just, you know, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I
also watched half a movie.
No, this is a fucking standalone movie. I didn't. At the end of it, I mean, it's a clear end to the movie. If it goes 27 years in the future, that's a clear split. Yeah. That's a very clear split. So I don't feel it's not like watching.
But for me, it's
Matrix
half a movie
2.
because of the movie that I know is just half of that movie.
But that's just like if it's like, sure. But it's like a clear split between the two.
It is.
Part 1, Part 2.
Yes.
But yeah, it was, if they went to, like, this movie would have been dog shit if it was, like, if they did everything, then we wouldn't have gotten a fucking hour of amazing film with, like, just amazing moments and comedy, and just, like, the first half of this movie is fucking, well, from, like, you know, the next month or whatever, whenever it happens after the
kid gets
murdered?
After
the kid gets murdered, when it starts up, and then that's the great part of the movie. And then it slows down a little bit. Nothing as bad as the first part. The first part is seriously the worst. It is really just not great. It was I didn't
have a problem with that either.
It was just like super like Christmas made for TV. Oh, like just I don't know. It was fine, but it wasn't nearly as good as what the movie became. The movie became way better than that first part. And then, the fucking floating people was whatever. I didn't like it. Not horrible. I fucking love the movie. Better than everything DC's put out. Every single movie DC's put out. This is like
that's
a million times. I'm just
hard.
thinking of shitty movies that have problems.
I liked it better than
this
Logan
had small
Lucky.
problems. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I like this a lot better than Logan Lucky. 100%.
This is on par with me with Get Out.
Oh, Get Out's as far as quality of movie, best movie we've seen all year. And as far as scary movie,
I'd much rather watch Baby Driver again than Get Out. I like Get Out.
I'm not saying Baby Driver's my favorite movie because it's well made and it's really fun to watch. I'm not a huge horror fan. If I was, Get Out would probably be on the top of my list. But as far as filmmaking and writing, as far as really good storytelling where everything makes sense.
No, I get you, but
it's the best.
But I'm saying, for me, like this and Get Out are on par with each other of movies I would rewatch because I like
in the horror genre,
which is something I don't visit that often.
Usually, horror films are dog shit, which is why I'm surprised this one gets. I mean, people fucking love dog shit of all flavors.
Well,
people love DC movies. People love horror. Yeah, but you look at the delusion.
Horror conventions. There are. I mean, horror is such a massive genre.
Yeah. No, I know.
Hot Topic wouldn't fucking exist if it wasn't for horror and metal music.
Well, Tim Burton is fucking huge part of.
I think that The Nightmare Before Christmas has died off some even with the new emo kids.
Dude, first off, the last time I went to a Hot Topic was probably, let's say, 5 years ago.
Probably.
Not
still a lot of
It doesn't look anything like original Hot Topic. Black everywhere, black and very Halloween goth theme. Hot Topic remodeled. It looked like a fucking just
like a Pacific Sunwear or something.
Brighter, like glass, blue, bright, everything. Still has all the same pop culture bullshit. It's just they're not trying to be gothic. They're trying to be EDM, I guess, is the new thing.
True.
For kids. They're just trying to be a pop culture store.
No, EDM is so old anyway. Like there's been
raves are like huge.
Yeah,
DJs are huge.
I know,
right
but
now.
like raves were fucking huge when we were graduating.
People have loved shitty music off and on for existence. I don't. That's you know what? That's probably one of the reasons why I never really gave a fuck about drugs growing up because. Like that's you had to be high.
Drugs,
oh sure,
that beat is the shit.
If you want to enjoy dog shit, get on drugs.
I've watched terrible bands high on acid or mushrooms and loved them.
Yeah, that's not a sign of good music. If you have to be intoxicated,
I didn't have to be. I wanted to be intoxicated.
To enjoy EDM.
No,
you have to be intoxicated. To enjoy
I've
EDM,
actually literally went to a rave and been sober the entire time.
Unless you've already heard that shit on drugs, you can't just step into it and be like, this is my shit.
The rave I went to was drum and bass where there was a
none of that shit makes any I don't know what any of that means.
Physical DJ, well that's the style of
sure.
And there was a guy on the ones and twos with switching records out and scratching them like in an old school hip hop group.
Right.
So I was down with that.
Sure.
And I fucking was sober the entire night.
And you'd never been high before listening to that music? That was your first time listening to EDM? Because the only people that I know that listen to it sober are people that fucking just got mollied the fuck out and
never done Molly in my life. But
ecstasy.
Done a lot of that.
It's another name of ecstasy.
Yeah.
That's all Molly is.
Just more concentrated.
It's rebranded.
It's like wax versus fucking hash. The old school hash.
It's rebranded shit.
Whatever happened to hash? Well, back to it.
It's worthless. You can do way better shit with weed than hash.
But I'm saying like
hash is poor people resin.
It is.
We're not amongst poor people. Well, we are.
Well, you're terribly poor people.
And they smoke crack, not hash.
We saw a guy smoking crack today on the way to it. Which, loved I'm glad you fucking pointed it out. Someone just tacked down one red balloon, like, on the
in a drain outside the theater. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, it was so good. Like, I don't know if the theater did that. Kudos to the theater if they did it. Even if it was just a fan.
Could have been one of 1,000 people that walked by that bus stop.
I don't give a fuck who did it.
Yeah.
Good on you, bro.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would imagine the theater would do it if there was a even
one
half
smart
retarded manager that's like, let's promote this new movie without freaking everybody out with like putting on clown costumes. But yeah, this movie was weirdly a lot of fun.
It was way more comedy. Like
the first half was like
in the original
so much.
I don't
feels.
I think you'll hate the original because
I can almost guarantee it. Yeah.
There's not nearly as many funny fucking parts at all.
Can't imagine a TV movie being in the late 80s being really funny at all, or really good at anything for that matter.
You know what?
Maybe good at melodrama.
If I remember right, Seth Green is one of the kids in the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. But yeah, good movie. If you're looking to see a movie, do we have anything more to talk about it? I can't think of. When we go into
there's
individual
a lot of stuff,
fears and stuff like that.
There's
like favorite moments. Do you have a favorite moment in the movie?
Favorite moment.
I really loved. I kind of was hoping more for a love thing with the fat kid and the chick, because especially once she found out that he wrote the poem.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he's gonna get some pussy. But
I thought that
still went to the stuttering more.
One of my favorite parts, maybe
stuttering Stanley.
Right. Just the scene where they were all at the quarry swimming,
Dude,
and they're all staring at her.
Oh yeah,
as she's laying out in the sun in her bra and panties.
There were so many good scenes, when they were just on the cliff.
Yeah,
that scene was when they were just spitting.
Yeah.
Fucking in their tidy whities.
That was
fucking hilarious. And then she shows up, and then it's like
she's like, later pussies, and then they're like, oh,
there's
what the
so
fuck?
much heart and comedy in the build up of this movie. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes. There was also, I don't know if we mentioned it yet, a lot of fucking pedophilia shit. Some really creepy. That was the creepiest part of this fucking movie.
Scarier than Pennywise.
Oh my god! Is the real people
pedophilia vibe
and the
pharmacist. Ugh.
Oh my god!
Like I was, like literally out of everything. Like,
was that in the first one?
I can't remember. Like I know that the dad was a thing in the first one. But there was no pharmacist, or if there was, I can't remember it.
I mean, the way they
it's
did
legit
it,
been 8
the way they wrote
years
it,
since I've seen the original.
Right on, yeah. But it's like the way they wrote it and it was performed. Like those two actors, those two dudes, fucking
perfect,
great job. Makes me like
you look like Clark Kent.
Like you did such a good job. Like for sure, don't ever try and babysit. Like for sure, like you did such a good job. Like you fucked up. You went full retard. You went full pedophile. But yeah, like it was because it was subtle. It was almost like the racism in Get Out. Like if this movie was all about like pedophilia,
there's literal parts of this movie that while we were talking about like, oh, if anyone gets, it's not scared, but I literally was uncomfortable in a few, like even some of the clown shit, like where it was fears, like I'm like, oh, that would be fucked up. Like it's not like I'm scared of it. But if you put yourself in the position of a kid, and that's what you're fucking seeing,
oh for sure,
oh my god,
for sure, this movie would have scared the fuck out of me.
Oh my fucking god,
absolutely, dude. I think if we'd watched this on edibles, we would have had heart attacks.
I was literally
would have had heart attacks.
I took 2 really big dabs before we even left.
You can fuck yourself on the dabs. That's not going to get you into the mindset of fucking getting a strong edible and just I mean my experience doing both dabs and edibles.
I'm just saying that it helped me.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was totally fucking.
But if we were on an edible, bro, heart attack city. That would have been 10 times whatever you were feeling.
I don't think
we would have been laughing our asses off.
I don't think I got caught on any of the jump scares.
There weren't that many. I weren't for sure.
There was a couple.
At no point, I was stressed out for the second half of the movie, because that's
it's a stressful fucking part of the movie.
Probably what diminished my enjoyment a little bit because
you're not into horror and it's not fucking a genre. You don't go to a movie to get
enjoy
stressed
stressful
out.
fucking movies. If I'm watching a movie and I know, like, I'm going into a movie and like I don't mind stress. Like watching Captain Phillips. Speaking of edibles, Heart Attack City. You want to talk about stress? Like, it's like putting yourself in the fucking movie.
What was your favorite part?
I mean, all the comedy, like that Corey scene that you were talking about. The man, let me think. The pharmacy. Well, the pharmacy scene, not her, but the back end of that pharmacy scene. Like, well, first off, how fucking insane the bully is. He was going to carve his name into the kid's stomach.
The fat kid, yeah. It's fucked up.
The fat kid gets away. Probably, like, if somebody, like my other shirt, if somebody makes a shirt of that, just that fat kid, sold. I'm gonna buy it. Like, I relate to those characters in these fucking things. But yeah, like the interaction with him and her when they first meet, and how that the Backstreet Boys comes back later for a hilarious comedy that's just between them.
Oh, that was
nobody
so good.
knows, doesn't come up. It's just and the audience.
Yeah,
that was like that pays off so good. That's probably just aside from the Corey scene, like those two moments. This movie was fucking. That's the thing. This movie was like at a fucking 10, and then went down to like an 8, which isn't bad. It's really good for what it was.
And for me, I think it was a 9 consistently.
Right.
Like it wasn't 10 at any point, but it wasn't ever 8.
That first part was 10 for me.
Like
because it was like I don't remember what I scored. Baby Driver, and if that tone somehow was able to continue, because like Stranger Things keeps that tone throughout for the most part.
Stranger Things, I think if
it's
you
a little bit
would
more,
revisit it, like it's definitely got
doesn't have the comedy.
It's got
for
slow
sure.
points.
Yeah,
it does have some good comedy when it's the kids.
Yeah, but nothing like this. This is some of the best comedy I've seen in movies.
She's our friend, and she's fucking crazy.
What movie, as far as written and performed comedy in movies, that like when the bulk of this comedy, the first half of this
laugh
movie,
out loud, I've heard in a theater,
in like just me laughing, you laughing, like actual funny comedy. I don't know.
I probably haven't laughed out loud that much at a movie, and it was a horror movie.
Adult or children giving, for sure. Crazy that it was this kid, kids, but mainly that one kid from Stranger Things fucking just firing back, man. It was like the writing of that there had to have been a comic on, like, that's a fucking Stranger Things fanatic that helped write some of that dialogue.
Just any fucking comedic mind, like every comeback was shit I heard as a kid, like your fucking mom.
Yeah, but nobody writes that in movies.
No,
that was real.
But yeah, that was real. It was like,
but we don't get real.
You're fucking fucking your mom last night, or like the dick measuring contest.
That's why the first part of the movie was more of like Hallmark movie of the week kind of start. I mean, until the kid's arm gets bitten off, but like very Hallmark movie of the week, like every part of it. Which is fine.
I did get scared when the kid's arm got ripped off. Like
I was like, this shit's gonna get gory as fuck.
I was like, where's this?
Doesn't really. But good start, good end to that kind of chunk.
Yeah,
made me like, okay, if this is gonna be Hallmark movie and we're gonna get that, I'm in. But then it gets to like Apatow with kids, and it's like, what the fuck? This is amazing. And then it gets into kind of like the
slowly
horror.
Goes into each of their fears.
Yeah, which were good. Some were better than others. I think it was just, I loved all of their fears. I think it was just when they were in that house, things started getting less good.
My least favorite
just
part,
slightly less good,
was the practical effect of that kid's broken arm. How fucking weird
it
that
started
looked.
off good, and then
when it was looked
way
like
over there,
way over here,
and then when they fixed it, it was like that's how you fix a finger, not an arm.
Yeah, like
you pull, you don't like just we'll just
snap it back in place. Yeah, no, like that part took me out for a second.
Him climbing down a fucking rope, get the fuck
with
out
one
of
arm?
Here.
Fuck that.
No, I had a broken hand. It was a broken hand. I can't imagine a broken arm. You can't, like, you can grab it, but you're gonna have some clicking, motherfucker, and you're a pussy.
I've had my whole hand in a cast with my thumb inside, like not sticking out.
Mine was like bent way back,
but mine was like this. Yeah. And I remember the day after my surgery, and I got the cast. Like, it was my right hand.
Yeah.
And I'm right-handed.
Yeah, me too.
And so, like, I straight up went to
punching walls.
Well, mine was in a fight. Yeah.
I fought and lost against cement.
I fought and lost against the guy's face.
I fought and won against a lot of drywall though. So let's put that out there.
But for some reason, I just automatically went to open the door, like, and it wasn't like a doorknob. It was a turn down and pull.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I turned it down, no problem. And when I pulled, like, everything that was, like, I had a pin in there, and everything that was in there just kind of, I felt it just like.
Was that when the cast was still on?
It's the day after.
You got the cast.
A day after my surgery, where I woke up with the cast on from being.
I remember
put out.
trying to drive my stick shift with my cast.
Yeah, I did.
Which
that
wasn't too hard.
No, it wasn't.
You just have to. I mean, you just pop it.
You know what though?
It is super.
I would cross shift.
I could get my fingers because it was like bent like that, but I could get enough. I couldn't use a mouse, but I could get like I mean, for a stick, it's just like you're just moving it.
I would hold the wheel with my fingers here, and I would just clutch and shift like this. But it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. Well, we were talking about shit that this cast scene. Yeah. You're not climbing down a fucking rope.
You're not climbing down a rope.
And I didn't know. First off, we did kind of see a murder that happened, and then whatever. But in that rope scene, with the bully comes back, and the homeschool kid's just like, "Well, you're fucking dead. You're fucking dead," and. Didn't know the pit was. I thought they reached the bottom.
No,
I didn't know they were just going. Well, after I saw the bully continue to go down past their little thing, I was like, "Oh, they're in a different part." Like they just kind of went off.
I can't wait till you see this second part.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I don't know. I wonder if let's see if the director's attached to the next one.
What the fuck? Trains now?
Or it's just some asshole in
Is there a train on Colorado right now?
I wonder what this guy has done. So he's not.
He's directed 7 things. None of them I've seen.
Looks like a foreign director.
Sure.
Which is great, man.
Whatever.
I mean, there's a lot of great fucking
what's
the
his
guy.
Name?
Andy Muschietti.
Good
Italian?
on this guy. It's a fucking great movie.
It was good, man.
I'm not a horror person.
Kind of came out of nowhere.
We've talked about like how we're not horror people.
Yeah.
And so,
although you've especially the shit that like the Stephen King stuff, you've definitely watched a lot more than I have.
Watched a lot of.
I remember
movies.
renting like horror movies, like when my mom was out of town or whatever, and it's just like my friend was coming over and we'd rent movies and eat junk food and shit like that. So I'd watch them then, but we'd also play video games, shit like that.
I always had cable.
But I only watched it once. I always had
cable, and Stephen King movies would always be on. Maximum Overdrive, Carrie, Christine, It, Sleepwalkers, like all, and I always had HBO, so there were like there was access to.
I remember
these movies.
Tommyknockers being like fucking mind blowing at the time.
The Langoliers.
Oh no, that's it, Langoliers. What the fuck is Tommyknockers? I may have seen both, actually.
Yeah, they're both Stephen King.
Langoliers, the airport one.
Yes, it is. Which is terrible CG.
Actually, I've probably seen a bunch of Stephen King stuff, but not. I think you've seen way more than me, for sure.
Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, Stand By Me, which
I don't know if I like.
Stand By Me, one of my favorite. Mm-hmm. Shawshank, definitely my favorite.
I mean, it's a really good movie. I don't know. It's
of
nowhere
Stephen King
near.
movies.
Oh, of Stephen King. Yeah.
No, my
Green
favorite.
Mile's like probably my favorite of Stephen King.
No,
and then Shawshank or
Shawshank for sure.
Those are like
Green Mile
A and B.
Green Mile is probably like 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah, I love Green Mile. I love both of them.
There's one movie Stephen King directed himself. Do you know what it is?
I heard it recently. He directed Maximum Overdrive.
Fuck yeah.
as Doug Loves Movies.
And he was coked up the whole fucking time.
Well, that's how he wrote. First off, just because you can do one thing doesn't mean you can do another thing. It's just kind of.
I love Maximo. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
Sure.
Emilio Estevez, that fucking Green Goblin truck.
Right.
Because I was like, I love comic book
shit. But it's like it's so much of his shit, like those kinds of things, fit very much into a category of.
They fit into that era.
Stephen King.
Well, it's Stephen King in whatever era it was put out.
But also the premise. The premise is like, oh, I've been doing a lot of blow. Like the studios, they're like, yeah, let's have killer cars.
Hey, bro, what if? Listen. What if all the machines turned on us?
Yeah.
What would you do then, bro? What would you do then? All right,
unplug the toaster oven.
I'm gonna write a book. I
already wrote it.
Wrote
it last night.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I found that I wrote a book.
Now it's a movie.
I wrote this book and I'm gonna direct it. And you know Martin Sheen? You know Martin Sheen?
We got him. Guess why? I did blow with him last night.
I'm going to get his son. They're like, Charlie? No, Emilio Estevez.
The one that's trying to distance himself.
Yeah, the one that won't take the family name.
Yeah.
But looks more like his dad than Charlie does.
Yeah, but they all look related as fuck.
Really
Just like the, who's the 30 Rock guy? That's got all the Baldwins.
The Baldwins are definitely.
There's none of those brothers that have changed their last names.
No.
That would be stupid. Stephen Baldwin.
William Baldwin, Billy Baldwin. Isn't there? I think there's a William and a Billy.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Weird.
There's the
because
one
William
that was in
Bill.
Biodome.
That's Stephen.
There was the guy that was kind of like the
suave.
Yeah, like 80s, kind of like longer, like kind of almost like a
slick back
a poor
Wall
man's
Street.
Like Spade, not David's. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of another 80s guy that was in a lot of shit. But anyway,
I like it.
Let's move on from this.
Value Mart Rob Lowe.
Close to the name that I was thinking of. Rob Lowe fits in that category for sure. Go see
or
it.
Maybe
people.
a Matt Dillon. Were you going for Matt Dillon?
Nope, not it either. It was a guy that was in like a lot like Secretary, 80s, like kind of like softcore porn movies. David
Duchovny?
No, close. You're right in the fucking universe.
Or Carradine?
No, it's not Carradine. Carradine.
Wait, the dude from Jade, who was in CSI Miami?
No. That's Caruso. David Caruso. Not him. Close. Very close.
Jesus Christ.
Because he's a crotch. He's a fire crotch, right?
Yes, he is.
That's not what I'm thinking. This guy's a brunette. Dark hair. I think it's Crash is the movie. Not the Academy Award-winning Crash. The Crash where people get in car accidents and fuck. That's the kind of movie I'm looking at. I think it's Crash. James Spader. Spader. I got part of it. Yes. James Spader. Yeah, anyway, I don't know how we were trying to find James Spader out, but we're there now. Crash, have you seen Crash, the original? The OG? Let's just say I've watched part of it.
Over and over and over again?
I don't know.
That's
know.
Probably
But there's so many of those movies. You know those movies that came out.
It's probably junior year.
Rented all of them.
Yeah.
Blockbuster. No.
Dude,
Video Depot.
My fucking dad and stepmom rented Jade.
Jade is like this movie.
Jade is
Secretary's like this movie.
Super fucking hardcore.
Have you seen Secretary?
No.
It's like Jade, but with the Secretary and S&M.
Like, and literally, this was like
S&M.
family night, and I'm probably 14, 15 when Jade came out.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with my family, and my little sister is in the room, and we're just watching this, and like, no one's really I'm like,
yeah.
So
95.
I was 14?
So if you rented it, though, it probably
15 maybe?
Yeah. But
even if I'm fucking 15 with my dad, my stepmom, Jesus.
Well, and your like younger sisters, right?
And my sister who's 8 years younger than me. So if I'm 15, she's fucking like 5.
Let's say you're 18. How comfortable does that feel? About as comfortable as that pharmacy scene. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. But I loved all those movies, man. Those were the movies that I had when I would, copy rentals.
Yeah.
I'd do the EP where you get 3 movies on a VHS. Like, I remember Private Parts was one of them.
Howard Stern movie.
Because she comes on the speaker. I was like, this is so... I wish I had internet. It's so much work. You have to like do video editing to get your porn. Life was hard. I learned Photoshop. Paying off. Made money. Haven't made money with the VHS shit. Anyway, let's move on. Enough of the Jade talk. Enough of the fucking softcore porn.
Wait, what are we giving it? I'm giving it a 9. I don't know what my previous scores have been.
I give it. I mean, 9's not bad. I give it like a 8.5. I mean, a strong 8.5
it's fucking
for sure.
Good
it's
movie.
really good,
like,
man.
If you
so surprising.
Like, and if now imagine if either of us were big horror buffs and then saw this, that shit would be a fucking
maybe
10 out of 10. I guess
maybe because I know that people that are Trekkies hate the reboots, but regular audiences love it. So I don't know.
You were saying there were tense part like actually,
if you love horror, I don't know if you love this movie.
For a movie that would have made me feel like. Yeah. No movie makes me feel really uncomfortable. Because this was like did.
This didn't. I mean, like the pedophile moments made me uncomfortable. That's it.
Some of the weird blood parts was like, oh, that would be weird.
I was like, I've seen it in like a when that it was done really well.
When that girl's dad, who's already the creepiest creep ever, comes into the bathroom and she sees blood everywhere and she doesn't fucking see it and she's crying.
So I like how they handled that scene because most movies would have just made it disappear.
Yeah.
And then, she brings... Was that in the first movie, too, where, like, they help her clean and everything?
I can't remember.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's a fucking... For sure, if you're looking for something to watch, you can't fucking beat it. It's just came out. We're probably going to get... There's going to be a bunch of horror movies coming out. October's coming up. First kind of, like, big budget, mainstream horror remake. Fucking good. Rated well. Go see it.